Good morning, welcome to another new week. It is gone a bit cloudy. It's not quite what I'd hoped, and I think it's going to be like this for a few days, unfortunately. But it's not cold, and I've got the place to myself for a bit because Kristal is out at a spa day for Debbie's birthday, and then they'll all descend on here at some point later this evening. But for the time being, it's just me, so I need to actually make the place a little bit more presentable. Most of the hard work's been done, but the hoovering and a few other things haven't. So those are my missions, exciting though they are for the morning.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
Super excited. Those chili seeds had not sprouted yesterday evening, and this morning 4 of them. Now there were 6 planted in total, but you get a bit of a failure rate, so you just have to see how it goes. But that is really impressive. Very happy with that, because this chili plant here is not ours. This will be a Father's Day present, so this will be leaving at some point. It seems to sort of lose leaves from the bottom upwards, but the good news is at the top there you can see it's beginning to grow some flowers. So that's a Scotch bonnet, so that'll be very hot chilies. And out here everything looks pretty happy, all things considered. It's a bit of a geranium overload, but that's kind of what I was going for. And haven't have the wildflowers sprouted yet. Look, we have a blade of grass. How super exciting. But that is it other than that. So I think I better nip out. Look how quiet it is. Where's everyone gone? It's possibly a zombie apocalypse. It happens now and again. Nothing quite so satisfying as recycling old newspapers, especially if they're completely rubbish newspapers, like The Sun, which came for free because it's the World Cup, and the local Richmond and Twickenham Times, which is a horrible rag. And if you're watching this in 10 years' time, then a physical newspaper used to be several large sheets of paper bound together with the news printed on it, even though by the time you got it, it was already out of date. Very strange concept. So the only other monumental thing that's happened today is the 14th of June, which means it's exactly 1 year since I left Global. It's exactly 52 vlogs, because that's how I measure time. And yeah, it's flown. It's amazing. When you're in work, usually if it's a year later in something, either it feels like an enormously long time, or you think, oh God, we're back here again. I've got the exact opposite feeling. I'm kind of like, wow, that was quick, and amazing, it's here again. So there we go. That's what a year being self-employed looks like. It's been great. So let's give it another year, eh? Let's see how it goes. No time out at the present. So this has been Race for Life Richmond Park. About 3,000 people here, which is a pretty impressive turnout. About £300,000 raised for Cancer Research UK, which is very good. And Kristal's just crossed the finish line. I don't actually know what the time is because I'm nowhere near the clock and my eyesight is terrible. But yes, it's probably about just over half an hour or so, which is very good actually. And now I've just got to find her in this sort of sea of 1,000 pink ladies. Welcome to a lovely sunny evening in Kew, as always. Now I want to show you my friend here. Can you see, or I'm sure you can, this here pigeon? He sits on the roof just there every single night, and he comes back at around somewhere between 7 and 8 o'clock, and he sits there until after dark, and he just watches what's going on. Every night we look out and he's in exactly the same spot. I don't know what he's looking at because there isn't a lot going on down here, but he's ever so consistent, and it's slightly strange. Hello, happy Monday. So I'm just going to put this out there. Not sure it's necessarily factually accurate, but I bought a pair of shorts on Saturday and the sun hasn't come out since. So that's what I mean by shorts. Disastrous. Good afternoon from Kew Green. The rushes around Kew Pond have grown up well high. If you look to your left here, you'll see some cygnets. That wasn't what I was coming here for, but there we go. There they are. Seems to be a lot of cygnets around at the moment. We can have a swan overload. It's always very duck friendly, this pond, but no, I meant actually over there in the background you can see some carnival trucks, which are for Kew Midsummer Fete, which is happening this Saturday, which unfortunately we can't go to. That said, it's pretty much the same every year, so if you're slightly curious as to what it might look like, search my previous vlogs for Kew Midsummer Fete and you will see it. Anyway, I'm going for a little wander around because it's a bit miserable this morning, making the most of the improvement in weather this afternoon. This is more like it. It's summer properly again. It sort of flips on and off. It's a bit breezy, but it's still 20 something and very pleasant, a little more in the sun. So a bit of an afternoon walk, and then this evening going back into RHP for a committee meeting. So that should be quite fun. This is growing a bit mental again over here. Oh dear. At least it's sheltered from the rain. It looks like I'm going to need to get a haircut before we get to Switzerland, which is 5 weeks. 5 weeks on Thursday. Yeah, this is getting a bit silly. I'll see if I can put it off for another couple of weeks, just so it's not ridiculously long when we get there. But anyway, that's not your problem. You don't care. Let's go and have a look at the beautiful river. So as you can see, there's a very, very low tide at the moment. Still going out. And Chizik Bridge is undergoing a complete renovation / facelift. Which is going to take quite a while, but involves replacing all of the cornicing and the fancy stonework, putting in new lighting, but that looks like the lighting that was originally there, as opposed to the sort of cheap 1930s metal lighting that's been put on there since. And then they're also putting in a cycle lane and redoing the stairs and all sorts. Anyway, it's a huge task. They've had to install lifts to get the stonework up there, and they've had to install big metal rail there so they can move heavy stonework from one end to the other. It's quite a massive project, and then they've taken over most of that field, as you can see, for a site office. So it's probably going to take quite some time, that. So I just popped into Grove Park Church, which is over there-ish. You probably can't see it. St Paul's in Grove Park, Chizik. And what you probably don't know about the church is that it has a genuine piece of Florentine Renaissance art on the wall. Massive, huge painting. Not possibly the greatest example of Renaissance art. Probably wouldn't make it into the Uffizi, but nonetheless, 16th century Italian artwork. So if you're in the Chizik area, feel free to pop in and view. So here we have a bit of, actually, it's a bit of private path along the riverfront here. But it's open to the public during daylight hours, which is very nice, and obviously all the people that live here, other than having amazing security, have access to it through their gates. But what's most impressive is that the high tide so regularly floods this, that this grass is entirely artificial, as you can, well, as in it's real grass, but it's not been planted, it's simply grown because of the sort of water and mud that's flooded over the barrier here. So this was entirely paved, and now it's very soft grassland. Walking along the river beach. It's very pleasant. There's a lot of homes for sale on the riverfront at the moment, which is very odd. I'm sure they're all out of my price range, but nonetheless, it's strange to have so many for sale at one time. Especially on a day like today. Why would you want to sell? Look at that. Another day at the office. This is Oxo Tower, where we're filming somewhere here. Don't know what the collective noun for cameras is. This is what's going on here. Cameras, lots and lots of cameras. So many cameras. It's the Thames Beach. complete with children building sandcastles, frolicking tourists, and probably some drug users under the pier. Amazing. 10 minutes with Neil Bentley is what everyone really wants. Or 10 minutes of Neil Bentley on his phone. Is it all because of my amazing animation? No, I don't think it's perfect, yeah. Hello, hang on, what is... That's better, you can actually see, rather than it being soft focus. Hello, happy Friday, it's a beautiful day. Going out into town later on to have some dim sum with Kristal and her friends, so that should be awesome. And right now I'm just making the most of the sun, because that's what Fridays are for. Just been drinking Las Iguanas for the last 4 hours. Why not?